Hello, 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 and welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of Sticky Tip Tuesday. I'm Darcy. I'm your hostess with the mostess, and I share little tiny tips, sometimes they're a little bigger, on Sticky Tip Tuesday. And last week was like a golly darn good one. We went live with the new Chat GPT, whoa, and I showed you some cool stuff. But today I'm talking about foundations. Today I'm talking about putting the me in your social media. So let me just see if we're live. And yes, we are. Now, I want to talk to you about this because I have seen so many people who are not taking advantage of their platforms. Now, I'm really going to just kind of talk specifically about Facebook, but you're going to get the gist of this, that you need to use these platforms, because if you're trying to market a product or a service on social media, you don't get to do a handshake. You don't get to meet somebody in person, usually. So what you have to do is create a good message so that you become memorable or memeable in your social media. So I want to share with you what I'm talking about here. Now, are you, the big question of the day, are you showing up like you want to be seen? And by that, I mean, have you got a good profile picture? Have you created some content that always stays there? And I'll talk about this a little bit more in a minute. Well, actually, I might just go on to my personal page so that you can see kind of what I'm talking about here. So if I share, here we are. So what I'm talking about is you want to have this information over here on the left-hand side filled out. And you want to talk a bit about yourself. And when you get into your About section over here, you want to be able to talk about you and your education and your work experience and basic contact information. These kinds of things are absolutely critical. Now, the number of people I've seen who have their cover image completely blank, you don't want to go there. You want to tell them a little bit about yourself. So the image that I've put here is like, you know, I'm kind of fun to be around. And those are the kinds of things that we want to be seeing on your social media. And too many times, too many people don't give this information in. So if someone's interested in a post that you've made and the first place they go to is your personal profile, say on Facebook, and you don't have any information there, let me ask you, what would you think? How are you showing up? So you need to give this some thought, and I'm going to give you some reasons why you need to give this some thought. And here's the big deal. And I say this many times over, no matter what kind of training I'm working on. But before they buy from you, they first got to buy you. So who the heck are you? And what do you do? And what are your interests? And where do you live? What kind of work have you done? Who do you know? That just those kinds of things. So rather than jumping right into the buy me, and buy my stuff, you want to talk about you and what you are and who you and what you do. So the thing that I think, the other thing that's really important is you actually are in control of your message. So that begs the question, what is your message? And when we think about how many messages we get in a day just going across our mobile phones, or if you're driving in the city, the billboards, and you're listening to the radio, it's suggested that we get 3,000 messages a day screaming past us, but only 4 are remembered. I mean, that's really quite remarkable when you think about it. Only 4 messages are remembered with this 3,000 that we're exposed to on our TVs, on our radios, in the newspaper, in the magazines. I mean, and the list goes on. And so the question is, are you memorable or me-morable? Are you putting the me, meaning the you, in your social media? And I want to kind of explain this too, because I think that this is kind of an interesting thing to consider. That if we take a look at this little image on, just a second, the side here, it's always quite confusing because things go backwards, but here, this is your buyer's brain. And those 3,000 messages a day that we receive, or that our buyer receives, that anybody receives, is all in this brain here. And what we have to think about is our message is this little tiny X in here. So this is why we need to be memorable, and we need to show up, and we need to be different, because different is so much better than being better. But as I showed you, when people fill out their personal profile on their Facebook, for example, how many people have their cover image blank? How many people have their profile picture of their dog? And this isn't what we want to do. We want to create an impression that when someone comes and says, geez, I kind of think what they're doing is interesting, I'm going to go and check them out. You want to leave an impression. And as they say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So here's the whole idea of what we want to do is we want to earn a spot in our buyer's brain. But if we go back to taking a look at how many messages get into that buyer's brain, we're that little X mixed up with all that other stuff. So ultimately, here is the objective. This is what we want to do. We don't want any spot in the buyer's brain. We want the spot, the memorable spot. So that begs the question, how do you do that? And for that, I have an answer. So strap yourself in for a minute. I'm going to show you some stuff that I'm going to share my screen here and just make sure I'm on the right thing. And here we go. Here we go. There. So what I'm suggesting to you is that you should be thinking about showing up like you want to be seen. And this is a little product, a little training that I've put together, and it's called a 5-day challenge. But you could do it all in one day, quite frankly. And what it's about is setting your social media up to reflect you so that you can earn that spot in your buyer's brain. And so when people ask, well, how the heck do you do that? How do you get that spot? And how do you show up with that spot? This is what we want to do here. Whoa, what we want to do is show the right image, Darcy, here. There we go. So how do you do that? Well, take a look at this little piece of training that I've put together. As I say, it's a 5-day challenge, but you could do it in much less than that. Now, it's self-directed, which means while I train you, I'm not physically there. It's not virtual. It's all digital. So it's all been pre-recorded. And you think about, what do you dream of and how do you want to be seen? And how do you show up like you want to be seen? So we've got about 1/3 of a second before to make an impression. And what happens is that impression is usually created visually. So the number of people who don't use images or any kind of visuals in their content or visuals or think about their images. So for example, come do business with me, but there's a dog in my profile picture. We have to think about how we're showing up. So one of the big things that I've noticed with the people that I've worked with is they hate having their photo taken. And I've called that photo avoidance syndrome, PAS. And people hate having their picture taken. But I've got a great solution for that. In this little training, I show you how to get the best picture possible. And it's a little process that you go through. And I've referred you to a little free app that you can take advantage of. And you get other people, you put some pictures up, you get other people and they say, oh, that's a good picture. That's the one you should be using for your business. So you're getting some feedback about the image that you're using. And it's a great little exercise to go through. And then you think about, when was the last time you updated your social? So if this is the kind of picture that you've got on your social media, it's time for a change, folks. Please, please update your social media. Because as I said, before they buy from you, they first gotta buy you. Now, I think a lot of people don't kind of think about this, but we window shop when we scroll through our on our desktop or on our mobile phones. We kind of window shop. And if you're not grabbing attention with the way you're presenting you, then you're going to have a difficult time selling what you want to sell, because before they buy from you, they first got to buy you. So, as they say, you can't judge a book by its cover, but sometimes you can. And often people do judge a book by its cover. So what's your cover image say about you? And if this is what your cover looks like, and you've got, as I say, the picture of the dog there, people are going to say, well, what kind of business can this dog offer me? And unless you're selling dog stuff, that's not really what you want to do. Because I've said that there's quite a psychology to grabbing attention. And when stores merchandise, I used to be a store designer, and there is a whole strategy and psychological process to get people to notice things in the window. And we need to use some of those exact same strategies in terms of putting our best presentation forward in our social media. So I'm suggesting to you to join this now. Now, how does this work? Well, it's self-directed and it consists of videos and PDFs and step-by-step, easy to follow how-tos. And there is no AI in this. It's all you and the walkthrough with me, and it's a step-by-step process. And anybody can do this. And everybody should be doing this so that you create a good profile in your social media. Now, the question may be, well, how much does it cost? Well, I've set a price of $47. But the thing about this little program is you can pay what you want. So day one talks about how we see effects, how we are seen. So when you understand the science or the psychology behind how our eyes track, our visual storytelling can help you deliver a message. And then the day two is all about what's your cover story? What are you telling there? And how are you playing in the metaverse? As I mentioned, this is based on a Facebook profile, but you can use this information anywhere. And take a look about what's your brand idea? What's your short, little, punchy tagline that gets people to think about, well, how the heck do they do that? And then on day 5, we pull it all together and we create, I show you how to create a very, very, very simple one-page, freestanding website. And this is done on a platform, again, that's a free-to-use platform, so that doesn't cost you anything extra. So there is an awesome that resides in each of us, and you must have the courage to don the cape and stand out like you want to be seen. So I say here that regrettably I can't solve world peace, but I can help you transform how you present yourself. And why, you may ask? Because no matter if you're a coach, a creative, or a course creator, aside from the products and services you offer, you're playing in a big pond with Facebook's 2.9 billion active monthly users, and that was taken from 2022, so it's grown enormously since then. So how are you getting noticed? And do you know what the rules of engagement are? And so I've got a little bit about me and what I'm all about. I mentioned that I used to be a retail store designer, so I bring a lot of that psychology about getting your products and services noticed online. And here's a few well, folks like working with me, and they like having a giggle, and they've said that they do. So you go to this page, you decide what you want to pay. As I say, it says here it's normally $47, but you can pay what you want. You can pay more if you wanted. And this is all about getting you to show up like you want to be seen. And I'm going to give you the link for that right now. It's put the me in your social media, and I better just move my picture here so I can get out of the way of the link. So as you're not rushed to do this in 5 days. You can take longer. You can do it in a shorter period of time. But it's really critical that you show up like you want to be seen. And it's an easy step-by-step process. And I really, really suggest that everybody go through this little exercise. And an investment of $47 in your business is not a big deal. So I hope that you participate in this, take advantage of this, because folks have said they kind of quite like the way the process goes, and they're getting quite a kick out of what this is all about. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. My sticky tip Thursday is, but today's Tuesday. My sticky tip Tuesday is to show up like you want to be seen, and you control the message. You are the one that can make yourself memorable, and you want to be able to share that spot in your buyer's brain that kind of just is all on your own, so that you stand out above the crowd. Remember, 3,000 messages a day come across our mobile phones, our desktops, our computers, our radio, our TV, etc. And you want to be memorable. Now, just before I go, I want to share something else with you here, and I'll put this link in the comments below, but I do want to share with you that this Friday I'm going to be launching a little program called What Kind of Underpants Does Your Avatar Wear? And what I'm sharing there is how do you find your ideal customer? And you may think it's a silly question to ask about what kind of underpants does your avatar wear. But what we're talking about here is getting into the psychographics of your audience and not just the demographics. And it changes the way you connect with your audience. So we're going to have some giggles. It's a free workshop. You need to register for it. And so let me give you that registration link, which is right here. And make sure that you get registered, because we're going to do it in Zoom. So if you don't have the Zoom link, you can't get there. So book an hour, and there'll be questions if you want to ask some questions. But this one's going to get tied into the ChatGPT so that I can show you how to use AI to help identify your ideal audience, and then how to write content for them. So it's going to be jam-packed full of stuff. Hope you can be there, and be there and be square. And we'll see you on Friday, the 28th of May, for what kind of underpants does your avatar wear? And again, if you want to put the me in your social media, I'll put that link right down below. So have a great day, folks. Hopefully we'll see you on Friday for what kind of underpants does your avatar wear? And I'm Darcy from Sticky Beat, and I help you get noticed. As a matter of fact, I help you get your audience sticky. I help you get them stuck, and I help you get them to stay like bees to honey. Bye for now.